Last month, Google announced its Brand Activate initiative that is geared toward addressing the measurement challenges that brand marketers face. As part of the announcement, the search and advertising giant also revealed a partnership with the cross-industry effort known as Making Measurement Make Sense and introduced a new suite of metrics. Although the goal of the effort is to grow and improve the online advertising industry, one media company is lashing out at Google in light of these recent developments. Just Media's CEO Dick Reed claims that these new metrics raise multiple issues regarding the future of online advertising. So at this time, Dick is joining us now by way of Skype. Thanks for being with us today, Dick.
Hi there.
Great. Well, first of all, let's talk about Google's recent announcement. What will it do in your opinion?
Well, there's good and there's bad in the overall mix of responses that they've given to the market. We like the Active View initiative. I think it's very important, and I think that everybody in the industry would agree that it's very important that the industry has better metrics on the ads actually being viewed by the user. That's really important. Where we have, I think, a little bit more of a challenge is to accept that we need to move to a GRP model, which is moving towards a TV-based model when digital really has been doing so much more in analytics than TV has.
Well, let's get into those details a little bit further. Why are you so far against this? If you could just elaborate more on this for us.
Well, GRPs obviously are a notion of metrics that the TV industry has been using for many, many years. Reach and frequency are against a given target audience. And they do that through obviously the use of panel analysis and the estimation of how many people are watching TV at any given time and therefore seeing the advertising. Obviously with digital media we have a much more direct relationship between the ads being viewed and people interacting with them. And so we've got more tangible data on each individual ad rather than having to rely on panel analytics. So really it's a question of, is there a way for TV to adopt more of a digital analysis model rather than digital moving towards TV? It just feels like it's a step back in time rather than pushing the TV industry to be more in tune with the current metrics that exist.
All right. Well, in a post that you've wrote about this matter, you actually said that Google is, quote, the creator of many of today's online metrics problems, end quote. So why is this?
Well, that really relates back to Google's earliest days in the industry as a search giant. And of course, they've done wonderful things for the industry to move it forward. But part of what they did was that they made the click the key metric goal that search is measured on. And as a result, has tended to make that the metric that the rest of the industry looks at. And we're very much opposed to that from the perspective that measuring the click is a very, very small portion of what any ad can do to an audience. Every impression counts, which is something we believe in very strongly, gives credit to all of the impressions that are delivered in a campaign. And we try to measure ways in which the audience's behavior is changed beyond just people that click on an ad.
Well, you also say that there has been a decline in the online ad space since Google's purchase of DoubleClick tools in 2008. But can you elaborate more on this for us?
So basically, Google purchased the DoubleClick system several years ago, and one of the things that we were excited and expecting was that Google would make some massive investments and bring that product up to speed very, very quickly. And actually, as a company that was using DoubleClick for advertisers, we found that really the opposite happened. DoubleClick wasn't really developed under Google's stewardship for quite some time. It seemed to be that they were struggling with how to build the product into their portfolio, and as a result, we didn't see the aggressive accelerations of features in DoubleClick that we'd expected. And to the point that we actually did a review of ad serving technologies, and we actually moved away from DoubleClick for advertisers after almost 10 years of using it as a tool.
I actually want to bring in Frauke Cast, who is the head of analytics for Just Media. Frauke, what kind of impact has Google's early initiative and these recent developments had on Just Media?
Well, I mean, moving away from DoubleClick as our ad server has helped us tremendously. We just believe in having an independent ad server instead of Google that pretty much tries to own the industry at this point. Talking about the viewable impression, that's kind of funny that they actually changed the name now to the active impression. I do like the naming better than the viewable impression. But it's nothing new. I mean, the industry has been talking about this for, well, over 2 years now. And now they're jumping ahead. Instead of making this decision with the industry, they're leaping ahead and they're kind of forcing us into it. I'm not against it. I'm a big fan, but I think I feel a little bit overrun at this point.
Well, how do you think that these new tools will affect both publishers and advertisers in the short and long run?
Well, it's going to be dramatic because nobody is going to pay for an impression that has not been viewed. There won't probably be any impressions that won't be viewed in the future. And the CPM is going to get more valuable and more expensive.
Well, General Mills and the Stark and MediaVest Group are among the companies that are advocating Google's move. So what is your response to this support?
Oh, I'm a big advocate for the viewable impression. Don't get me wrong here. I just don't understand why Google wouldn't do this with the industry instead of going ahead of the team. And they were in their Google blog, they even said they're moving forward, they're going to reach out and work with the publishers. I'm just thinking they should have done this already.
All right. I want to bring Dick back in for this next question. Have you connected with Google at all to voice these concerns?
No, I'm not entirely sure that they would jump on every word I say. I'm sure that the industry as a whole, and if you look at the reaction on a lot of the blogs to the announcement that Google made, I'm not alone in being somewhat of a challenge to that approach. Like I say, we want Google and DoubleClick to lead the industry. That's what we expect from them as the major player. But what we would like to make sure that they do is create initiatives that are not just for those people who are using the DoubleClick tool, but they're tools which are available for the whole industry. That's the other key thing here, is that there are many ad-serving technologies that are used by different agencies and different publishers. And we need standards that can be run across all of those. So again, I would be looking to Google to engage with perhaps the even Microsoft Atlas, the Mediaplex system, Flash Talking, MediaMind, some of these other companies that do technologies, and creating a standard that we can all use rather than just one that's available only to their customers.
So an open metric system would have been preferred on your part?
Absolutely. I think that's what we should expect from Google, and that's what I believe industry leaders across the world should do. The standards that we create today are the standards that will be used for many years to come. So like I say, both Frauke and I applaud some of the things that they're trying to do. We just think that there are some other things that they could do better, particularly engaging the rest of the industry.
So going forward, Google has said that it will work more on its impression standards. So what do you foresee them doing as it continues to roll out this initiative?
Well, I think to Frauke's point, if they can bring some standardization to the industry, and then we can hold the online media industry to count for those viewable impressions, so that when we buy ads, we know that people are seeing them. That will make a big difference. We used our trading desks on a campaign recently, and we saw that 70% of the impressions served through that desk were actually above the fold. So there's a good chance that those are seen pretty much by everybody. The question really is the 30% below the fold. The question is, how many of those actually get seen? And if you have to start, renegotiating 10 or 20% of your inventory that's not currently being seen, that does have a major impact on media buys.
If we could bring Frauke back in just for a minute, and if she could talk about what advertisers would really like to see out of Google going forward.
I think they would like to see that Google is going ahead as the leader, showing the industry that we can all work together. We're all in this together. And it shouldn't be a decision just from Google by themselves, but they should bring in the publisher, they should bring in the agencies. They tend to be not very agency-friendly at this point. And yeah, I mean, we're in this together. This is our industry. So yeah, it should be our decision, combined decision.
All right, well, we'll watch closely to see how the online ad space reacts to this. Thank you both so much for talking with us today. We appreciate it.
No, thank you.
You're very welcome. With this WebProNews report, I'm Abby Johnson.